Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report. As always, I am your host Tom Downey. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney for more Cowboys coverage and any questions you guys have. We'll get into the latest on Ezekiel Elliott in a little bit, but first, let's take a look at Amari Cooper's injury. Now, Cooper has said he is dealing with plantar fasciitis. Meanwhile, Mickey Spagnola comes on and says, no. It's an intrinsic muscle strain, which I'm not even sure that that's a real thing. That doesn't, like, intrinsic muscle, what even is that? Either way, look, it's the heel, it's the foot. You can spin it however way you want, and the Cowboys are actively trying to get it out that it's not plantar fasciitis, because that's the scary term, going so far as to even call it, at least with some, it's inflammation of the plantar fascia, which for medical, adding itis means it's inflamed. So you're just calling it plantar fasciitis with a different name. Here's the reality for Amari Cooper. It's been about 3 weeks that he has not practiced for the Dallas Cowboys with this heel, foot, fasciitis, muscle strain, heel bruise, whatever you want to call it. That's kind of concerning for me. He's banged up right now. Now, Michael Gallup has looked great in his absence. Randall Cobb, Tavon Austin, all those guys are still there. But the longer this goes, the more reasonable it becomes, at least if you're me, and I'm sure many of you agree here, to be concerned about the situation for Amari Cooper. Do I think this causes him to miss the entire season? No, of course not. Am I trying to cause extreme panic here? No, not really. But it is noteworthy. So what is your concern level with Amari Cooper's injury? Grade it for me on a scale of 1 to 10. Let me know in the comment section. I'm not at a 10, but I'm also not burying my head in the sand and giving this a 1 and saying, oh, there's nothing to see here. There is something to see. I'm going to put it in that 5-ish range. Like, injury-wise, I'm worried about Cooper more than I am Tyron Smith, quite frankly, at least for week 1, not long-term, because, of course, that's still Tyron. But I think Cooper plays at least week 1 and beyond. Am I convinced Cooper's going to be 100%? No, I don't think he's going to be 100%, despite what he may say. For Cooper, definitely some reasons to have concern, despite his own comments saying oh, I'm fine, I'm not worried about it. I'd be a little bit worried about it, at least overall. All right, on now to Zeke Elliott. We promised you we'd get here. We were going to. The report from Ed Werner is that, first off, there's 2 reports, The first one, the one from earlier this morning, was from ESPN's Jeff Darlington, who says, eventually this deal is getting done, which was packaged by the failing ESPN as this deal will get done, kind of forgetting the eventually part, and I feel like that's kind of a key qualifier on that one. Now, Ed Werner comes on and tweets out, hey, the latest offer to Zeke came from the Cowboys, and it would make him the second highest paid back in the NFL. Well, here's what the range would look like. Somewhere less than 14.4, but more than 13.1. Couple of things here, by the way. A couple of notes as it relates to the contract side of it. The devil is in the details, guys. What's the guarantee structure look like? Where in that million-plus range does it actually fall? And, of course, we kind of knew the Cowboys already were going to come in around Todd Gurley, Lev Bell. We already knew for sure it was a top 5 offer, and there was no way they were going to lowball Zeke Elliott with $9 million. Now, of course, Jerry Jones unhappy with Zeke Elliott. I do want to make this point here before we dive into what the contract offer means as well. This was Jerry Jones' latest comment. I've earned the right with Zeke to joke. Period. I've earned that. Let me be real clear about it. I've earned that right to joke. Here's the thing. Jerry's right. Jerry's totally earned the right to joke with Zeke Elliott. He had his back during the suspension, went after the commissioner to try and get him removed, and paid a multi-million-dollar fine. All in the name of Zeke. Yeah, Jerry's earned the right to joke with Zeke Elliott. Now, with that in mind, this is just the media negotiations. I wouldn't freak out about it necessarily. If the players start saying stuff, that's a little bit different story. But the front office using some leverage battles there, that's expected. Now, I saw many of you in the comments section here saying, well, Zeke should take the offer, right? So I'll ask you this first. Does a deal get done before week 1 with Zeke Elliott? I think Zeke doesn't miss any games. I will make note, though. If we know the offer is out, And we know that Zeke is not with the Dallas Cowboys yet. Let's read between the lines and read what the actual outcome is. Zeke hasn't taken the offer, guys. That's what that means. Now, could they continue to work forward and get a deal done? Sure, of course, that's probably what's going to happen here. But Zeke did not take the Cowboys' offer. Like, we did the exact same thing with Dak like a week and a half ago, where, hey, we know that the Cowboys have a top 5 offer out to Dak Prescott. That means it's $30 million. And then like 5 days later, the report is Zeke turned down $30 million. Everyone loses their minds. But we already knew that. So remember that the offer is out. Zeke's not here. Zeke hasn't taken it. That's what this means. So just keep that in mind. And there's a reason, by the way, this comes out in leaks for the timing. It's, again, the Cowboys trying to win the media leverage battle. Now, today's show is brought to you guys by MyBookie. You guys have a little betting deal. I got you covered. Chatsports.com/Cowboys. Use promo code GOCowboys for a 100% deposit bonus. And then here's how you can get a Cowboys jersey. Maybe you want Jaylon Smith. More on him coming up in a second because we have those full contract details here. But if you want a Cowboys jersey, sign up a deposit, chatsports.com/Cowboys. Use promo code GOCowboys for a 100% deposit bonus. And email us at promo@chatsports.com. We'll get you guys hooked up. Now on to Jaylon Smith. First off, the failing Dallas Morning News threw out a headline this morning of, do the Cowboys have money for the triplets? Get me on screen, Producer Harrison. We've been over this. Yes, they do. Why is that a headline? Like, we do this every time. This is like the worst take you could possibly have of, wow, one guy signed. We're out of money, cap hell. No, guys, come on. Do better. First off, we'll break down the whole details in a second, but the extension for Jaylon Smith added only $50K to this year's cap. I will emphasize this again. Media writers, everybody, fans, everything. There is plenty of money left. Now, here are the full details because I love what the Cowboys did. And I will preface this by saying I didn't even know this was a thing the NFL allows you to do because RFAs never happen anymore. But on the extension, the Cowboys are actually using that RFA year for the deal. So the extension is still 5 years, $64 million, but the full value, which keeps Jaylon with the Cowboys until 2025, is 7 years, $69.5, a nice figure, million overall. This is a very team-friendly contract. So, and I might have said 50K, I meant 500K. If I misspoke there, that's my bad. Either way, it's right on the screen, so I guess that's what matters there. The in-depth contract details, then we'll do a year-by-year breakdown here. There is a $5 million signing bonus. That is split up over the first 5 years of Jaylon's contract. There is also an option bonus split up from 2020 to 2025 of $8 million. That's all split up equally. So in reality, it's kind of 2 different signing bonuses there. His 2019 and 2020 salary is guaranteed. The 2021 and 2022 salaries are injury guaranteed in case he blows out his knee again, God forbid. And they also guarantee on the 5th day of the league year. So now let's look at what it actually means for the Cowboys cap, because that's very confusing there. It's not laid out very well. Here's the cap hit versus the dead money side of things for Jaylon Smith and the Dallas Cowboys. 2019, his cap hit is $2.56 million. Very low. Next year, it goes up 7.7, but in reality, from what the tender would have been, you're only paying a couple extra million more. It's really not that much of a rise there. Then in 2021, it's a $9.8 million deal, which is where the Cowboys' contractual control of Jaylon Smith was going to end with, franchise tags and all that kind of stuff. So you can't get out of it there. But in 2022, his contract is $11.8 million. Part of it does guarantee early on. There's only $6.8 million in dead money. So if you really wanted to, let's say Jaylon Smith's play falls off a cliff for some reason, which I don't anticipate, you can get out of it. You've only really locked yourself into Jaylon's on-field play for about 3 years, barring, of course, injuries, which we're not going to put that in the universe. 13.6 is as high as it goes. That's it. And also, there's no dead money in the last year of his contract. So if the Cowboys want to, do you know what they can do? When they get to 2022 and they go, oh, shoot, you know what? We want some more cap space. Jaylon, let's restructure. Let's turn that about $12 million base salary. Let's flip it into a signing bonus. And probably more like 10 just because of the years left there. You can free up $3 million that way. So the Cowboys with this deal, again, super, super team friendly. There's only one grade to give it. Only one acceptable grade. It's an A. And any of the variations above A, so A+. It was a fantastic move by the Dallas Cowboys. Jaylon Smith gets paid. There's plenty of guaranteed money for him. He goes in 2 years earlier. It's a very team-friendly contract. The Dallas Cowboys, a fantastic move here on their front to extend Jaylon Smith. I see nothing but A's in the comments and A+. You're right. This was a great move by Dallas and Stephen Jones. All right, guys, get us to 50K. I haven't picked the date yet. But if we don't get to a certain point of 50K before the season ends, I'm going to channel my inner Zeke, and I'm going to hold out and go to Cabo. That is my promise to you. I will hold out and go to Cabo. So get us to 50K. We're approaching that number. We're going to get there at some point. But before the year ends, or I'm off to Cabo. So tell your friends, make sure they are subscribed. Moving now to the on-field stuff, because we didn't really have any of that here today. George Iloka and Donovan Wilson, both of them got reps with the first team in practice this week. For George, this is the first time he's done that since signing. I'll make note the reason why here. Jeff Heath was limited, so they wanted to see what the guys have. Problem is, it's actually kind of tricky to keep both Iloka and Wilson because you're going to keep Jeff Heath. Sorry, some of you. You're going to keep Xavier Woods, obviously. Kevon Frazier's a key special teamer. Darian Thompson plays special teams. He's a better free safety than George is. Maybe you only keep one. Wilson, meanwhile, also had those reps. And I'll make note for Wilson, and it intrigues me. He's played more free safety than strong safety in the preseason, and Wilson has kind of been stuck with the number 3s in games because it's Woods and Frazier early. Then Kevon Frazier comes in at strong safety. Darian Thompson goes in before Donovan Wilson as well. I do want to see Wilson, probably in week 3 or even week 4 if it comes to it. I want to see him get more reps at strong safety. I think that's going to be his best fit on this team. I like that he can play some deep coverage, but I want to see him have success in the box and see if he can actually be a potential heir at the strong safety spot. So hopefully for Wilson, he ends up getting some more reps early on. Now let's say you can only keep one. Type in I for George Iloka. I almost said the wrong thing there. I for Iloka, or W for Wilson. It's a no-brainer for me, actually. If it comes down to it and you only got room for one, keep Wilson. The draft pick, the younger, the cheaper option. That's the route I'm going there. And oh, by the way, it's probably going to be this case anyway, but if you cut George Iloka, you pretty much guarantee yourself getting a 5th-round pick back in the compensatory draft process for Cole Beasley. So just keep that in mind out there. Some good news here for the Cowboys on the offensive line. Brandon Knight, who tore his plantar fascia, a clean tear, is now back on the practice field. This surprises me because that seems incredibly painful, especially when you're 300-plus pounds. In the end, in the words of producer Harrison, you love to see it, right? Now, I will make note for Knight, and this is per Todd Archer who reported it. Apparently, it's easier to recover from a fully torn one and play through it than a partially torn one, which, okay, I don't know enough about medicine to dispute that, so I'll go with the report there from someone who I'm sure talked to the team doctor. Now, in terms of how this affects the Cowboys' offensive line, remember, Connor McGovern, at least for now, is still out. The Cowboys were throwing in Jawan Bushell-Beatty at guard at points in the preseason. With Knight back, maybe you see more of him in the preseason, and if he's able to play, that's awesome there for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, first off, if you watched the entire little cut here, thank you, I appreciate it. We had a debate in the Chat Sports studio today. Which is the better Twitter mode? Day mode or night mode? Producer Harris, I don't remember if you chimed in. Was it day or night for you? Night. Correct. The correct answer is night mode. If you use day mode, you're probably a serial killer. The answer is night mode here, so let me see those ends like Joshua, Anthony, Isaac, John. Lemon is in there, N. Absolutely, I think night mode is the correct answer. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.